Hi there, it's Celeste from Flying Otter Marketing. We're here in this tutorial to talk about adding and editing text using your content management system. So first off, I'm just going to hit some of the highlights. As you can see, I have a test page sitting in front of me. Of course, you don't want to edit live pages and be messing around with this unless it actually is a page you want to be seen, because when you make changes with your CMS, as you know, they are immediate and permanent. There is no undo button. So I'm using a test page so that we can see it live, but it's not affecting an actual site. So once you highlight some of your text, you can apply some of the typical formatting things that you'll see up here in the toolbar, like bold and italics. I'm going to caution you to use these next few very cautiously. Underline, because when you underline things on a website, people assume that it's a live link, and when they try to click on it, nothing happens. They just assume you have broken links on your site. So if at all possible, avoid underlines. And then of course the strike through, subscript, and superscript are things that you're accustomed to using with using Word. But I'm going to go ahead and apply a couple of styles here just to show you. As I click away, you can see that on the word is, both the bold and the italics functions were activated. I can unactivate either one of those just once the text is selected, by unchecking it. There also is a great little tool over here for clearing all of the formatting, and that's the eraser that you see here, that little eraser icon that is the remove formatting. So as you can see, it just removed everything from there. A couple of other things that will come in very handy for you. I'm just going to provide a little space there, and this icon here is to insert a horizontal bar just to give you a little of a visual separation between your blocks of text. Another very handy tool here is the insert special characters. It's really terrific to insert characters that you don't have in your on your keyboard, such as the euro symbol. Let's see here, or let's see, there's the euro, or perhaps let's see, what else? A registered trademark. Okay, so those are both symbols that you might find yourself inserting somewhere that you don't have on your keyboard. A couple of very handy things that you're going to find in your toolbar here. I'm going to just create a numbered list. Okay, as with Word or any word processor, you're really in the best shape if you type all of your content in and then go back and format it. Well, that holds true here as well. So I'm just going to put in a couple of items and then show you how to use these tools. Okay, so once I have these items blocked in there, I'm going to create a numbered list out of them just that easily. I'm going to select the numbered list tool, and you see how it just turned it into a numbered list. If I decide that the sequence of those items is not important, it's just that easy to flip it over with a toggle to a bulleted list and back. I also, though, can remove it altogether by highlighting and just unselecting that. This brings me to a good point, good place to point out to you. As you can see, there's automatically a full line space in between lines of text when you use your enter key. And that's because your CMS assumes that as you use the enter key that you're starting a new paragraph, so it automatically creates that line space right after the paragraph. So if you were perhaps needing to add a line of text immediately beneath an existing line of text, if you will hold down your shift key, you can't see it, but that's what I'm doing right now, and then hit your enter key, as you can see, I could then type in a line of text that's immediately beneath. So that's just an option that you may want to exercise at some point. A couple of other things that you may or may not want to use, because you've got color formatting in your template and most of your text is already colored the way that you would want it to be in keeping with the design of your site. But just in case you want to use this color formatting, or the font coloring option, as I click away, you can see that I turned that word red. Another option is to use the highlighting tool. Well, actually it didn't stick. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, that's effective. It definitely gets people's attention, but use both of those items judiciously because they really will make your site start looking like a community bulletin board pretty quickly. Another tool that you may find very handy is the Show Blocks tool. As you can see, these boxes that have the dotted lines around them, those are containers. And in this case, with the little P that you see right here in the upper left corner of each of those boxes, it's indicating a paragraph. So the content management system is treating that as though it were a paragraph. Sometimes you'll end up with lines, blank lines, and you can't get rid of them and can't figure out where they're coming from. This is a great way to find some of those hidden lines that may be in there because you hit the enter key perhaps more times than you anticipated. So you can just turn that off very easily. Spell check is a tool that of course you're familiar with, works just like it does in any word processing tool. The source button will reveal for you the HTML source code of just this block of editable text. And for those of you who are curious and interested in learning how to step through HTML code, this is where you would do that. We'll turn that back off so you have the WYSIWYG editor. The editing box that you have is called a WYSIWYG, and that stands for what you see is what you get. Dropping down to this next line of formatting options, this first box will have the paragraph formatting options, and actually I'm going to create a new line of text here, or a couple of them. And the reason for that is I want to demonstrate how to use this particular drop-down list. The paragraph format, there's the heading 1, heading 2, and so forth, and each subsequent heading tool gets a little bit small. But the reason I point this out is that you clearly could end up at this same point simply by adjusting the size of the font and bolding it. But when you actually have a category header or a section header and you want to change the font to something like this, use this heading tool because it makes it very search engine friendly. The search engines see that, and whatever the text is that's in that heading is noted as a new section or category header. So if what you're doing is sectioning off a new group of text that you want to highlight, this is a great way to go. And we can also switch that back to just normal if you changed your mind. Another thing that you'll want to note is this styles drop down. There probably are few, if any, styles in here you'll use. These are just the default styles that come with the content management system. But I bring it up because if in fact you have a custom font or style that was created with your site, it will be in this drop-down list at the very bottom. And as you see here, just next to that are the other formatting drop-downs that you'll be familiar with from any word processing tool, the size tool and the font tool. But again, I caution you against using the additional fonts any more than is absolutely necessary, and perhaps on a temporary basis. And the reason I bring that up is you've all seen flyers that look very amateurish and not at all professional, and the reason for that often is because there are multiple fonts being used, sometimes 4 and 5 fonts, and it's a big red flag that this was not a professional who did it. So stay away from lots of different colors and fonts because it just kind of looks like you got a new art set and wanted to use all the brushes at once. So stick with the font that was coded with your site, whether that be Arial or Tahoma or Verdana or Times, whatever it happens to have been, as much as possible stick with that. And if you do, just on a temporary basis decide to use something like Comic Sans, again, that's a big red flag to a lot of people, so be careful. Go back and clear the formatting once you've had a chance to see how that looks in the site, because it really may not be what you wanted, what you intended your site to look like. So there you have it, editing the text that you've added to your site, and of course, at the end you always want to click Publish Page because none of it sticks until you click Publish. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.